Former Goldman CEO Lloyd Blankfein, he loves Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Well, kinda. So ultimately, we know that Lloyd was the COO of Goldman Sachs from 2004 to 2006. He then took over as CEO in 2006 all the way through 2018. You may remember him and know about him because of the global financial crisis. He had a big hand in terms of talking to the media and talking through a lot of the events that were happening during that global financial crisis. But ultimately, he still is heavily involved in the financial system. He's seen as an advisor. He still has a lot of investments in the market. And so people want to know, what does the former CEO of Goldman Sachs think about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Historically, he hasn't been that big of a supporter. He seemed to kind of be a skeptic. But now all of a sudden, here we go. He's on board. Lloyd said, quote, "My view of it is evolving. I can't predict the future, but I think it's a big thing to be able to predict the present, like what is happening." And I look at the crypto and it is happening. That ends up being a very important and big deal, is when you get the former CEO of Goldman Sachs now saying, listen, regardless of what I think or anybody else thinks in the market, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, this is happening. I'm watching it happen. And so therefore he now acknowledges it. We've got a video that we'll play here in a minute in terms of exactly what he was saying. But it's important to remember that even the banks are getting involved as well. There's all kinds of traditional banks or investment banks like Goldman that have been offering clients ways to buy, trade, and custody digital currencies. But ultimately, what we know is that these leaders, these advisors, the people who have been running these organizations for long periods of times, the noise has gotten too loud. They can't ignore it anymore. And so here's Blankfein, exactly what he said the other day.
Pragmatist and somebody who's skeptical not only of the market, but skeptical of my own views, and trying to get on board and acknowledge things that I don't know everything, and strange things that I think are strange actually happen. I'd say at the point now, it's lost a lot of value, but at a point where it's trillions of dollars of value contributing to it, and the whole ecosystems are growing around it. And of course, we have the benefits of instantaneous transfer, and so a reduction of credit risk, and all the benefits of blockchain that a million people come on your show and talk about. I may be skeptical, but I'm also pragmatic about it. And so guess what? I certainly want to have an oar in that water.
Pretty incredible when you look at the fact that he's not only saying, listen, I used to be skeptical, but I still want to have an oar in the water. What he's talking about there is he wants to have a horse in the race. Whatever words, whatever phrases you want to use, it's very, very telling that the former CEO of Goldman Sachs now, he likes the stuff. He's going to invest. He's going to make sure he has financial exposure to an asset that has grown as a market to over $1 trillion. Now, of course, he's also worried about inflation and many other parts of the legacy system. And so one of the big questions and one of the big things to watch is how many of these executives are actually going to be running towards Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies versus they're simply moving because they're running away from what's happening in the legacy market. Regardless of why they're coming, they are all on the way. Some of them are here. Some of them are running towards it. Some of them are running away from the legacy system. But every single one of these people will capitulate. Every single skeptic, every single one of them eventually realizes it's too big to ignore. What do you guys think?
Lloyd is the perfect example from someone who went as a skeptic, learned about the technology, and now is becoming more and more interested in it. He was originally skeptical about it because it was new technology. He didn't really know the use cases of it. But after looking into it, he clearly understands that crypto is here to stay. There's trillions of dollars flowing into the asset. So I like that he changed his mind. I like that he's open-minded, and he's obviously very smart, right? He went to Harvard. He went to Harvard Law. He was a former Goldman CEO, also the former Goldman COO. So he clearly knows what he's talking about, and I like to see him on the side of crypto.